Hey everyone, and welcome back to Scandalous Media. It's Alana here, and today we're going to continue talking about the Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner's divorce because there have been some new developments and it keeps on getting worse. Sophie is claiming Joe abducted the kids, and after Joe claimed that he saw damaging footage of Sophie on the Ring camera, he's retreating and publicly asking Sophie to reconsider her harsh legal stance after all he said to the media. This is juicy, so grab a snack and allow me to spill the tea. If you haven't checked out part 1 of this video, which talked about the shock divorce between the two after everything seemed great for the duo, go check it out because I spilled some inside tea there as well. Also check out my scandalous article on my blog if you want some exclusive tea that would be deemed too hot for YouTube. I'll link it in the description box. Before we begin, be sure to like and subscribe for more videos each week, follow us on our social media, turn on our post notifications so you don't miss the live chat we do for every video, and without further ado, let's begin. We learned in my first video that Joe filed for divorce from Sophie days after she posted a cute picture of them on Instagram, and then he was seen on again, off again, wearing his wedding ring. He tried to frame her as a bad mother by saying she parties too much and tried to get the media to turn on Sophie by talking about her partying on set. All while this is happening, Sophie's side is saying the divorce is amicable, but we all know that isn't true. Now the story is developing with breaking news: Sophie sues Joe. What is she suing over? The kids. The messenger who first obtained the exclusive details of the lawsuit wrote, Sophie Turner has requested her estranged husband Joe Jonas return their 2 kids to their forever home in England amid their divorce, where she claims that the wrongful retention of their kids started on or about September 20th. So basically, Sophie is saying that Joe is unlawfully keeping their children in New York City and she wants them returned to England with her. Sophie says in April 2023, the family made England their permanent home and regularly discussed their desire to raise the kids in the UK and for the kids to attend school there. She says they felt England was a safe place to raise the kids and they were both down with the plan. She had a lengthy passage in her legal docs outlining all of the activities in which the kids have engaged in England. She says, with some hesitation, she and Joe agreed the kids would stay with Joe while the Jonas brothers toured the US because she was busy shooting a very intense, time-consuming series. Sophie says the agreement stated that in September, when she finished filming, she would return to New York to collect the children and return home to England. Now this is scandalous because when Joe first filed for the divorce, the first thing he did was try to pin Sophie as a bad mother, as he exposed that he's had the kids while traveling on tour, and it made people think, damn, Sophie must have been up to no good if Joe is taking care of the kids even while touring and going from city to city. But no, it turns out that this was the agreement between them since Sophie wasn't partying it up in every bar in the country, but rather filming. The lawsuit also states that this past Sunday on September 17th, Sophie and Joe met to talk about their separation, and she reiterated her desire to take the kids to England that week. However, Joe was in possession of the kids' passports and refused to return the passports to the mother and refuses to send the children home to England with the mother. Now, because Joe allegedly refused to return the kids' passports and send the kids back to England with the mother, Sophie filed these legal docs in federal court, citing the Hague Convention, which is an international treaty that deals with children abduction across country lines. She's asking for a court order demanding that Joe return the passports and return the kids to her. If you recall, they sold their Miami home in August and were reportedly planning on moving to England to begin their search for a spot overseas last December. And they supposedly toured a couple of spots too. Sophie also argues they've been living in the UK for 5 months now and even sold the Miami home the month before he filed. Sophie also spills the tea on why they split up. Sophie says that she and Joe had an argument on August 15th and Joe filed for divorce on September 1st. If you recall, she posted that lovey-dovey photo of them on Instagram the day before on August 14th. It gets more scandalous. She says that she found out he filed for divorce on September 5th through the media, which basically means that he blindsided her by filing for divorce after their argument. Can you imagine your husband filing for divorce without discussing it with you after an argument? Crazy. She adds they had both agreed the kids would follow her to England in September, but on September 19th, Joe's attorney contacted her people and said the kids would not be returning to England. I personally believe he's doing that to leverage the kids over her in this media war because Joe seems to have been playing dirty since day one, even leaking news that he's thinking about filing for divorce and then 2 days later exposing that he decided to file for divorce after catching Sophie on their Ring camera, but not telling us what he saw. Something about that screams blackmail.
I don't think that's right. It ain't supposed to be like that.
After all of this hit the press, just an hour later, Joe fired back. Joe put the blame back on Sophie, saying that Sophie is the one who has crossed the line by violating an order by a Florida judge by trying to take the kids permanently to England. Joe's reps then issued a lengthy statement in response to Sophie's claim Joe has abducted their kids by refusing to hand over their passports so they can return to England per their agreement. The statement reads, after multiple conversations with Sophie, Joe initiated divorce proceedings in Florida, as Florida is the appropriate jurisdiction for the case. Sophie was aware that Joe was going to file for divorce. The Florida court has already entered an order that restricts both parents from relocating the children. Sophie was served with this order on September 6, 2023, more than 2 weeks ago. So while Sophie cites the Hague Convention in her lawsuit, Joe is saying, oh no, you're actually violating the Florida order to keep the kids where they are. Joe's reps confirmed that they met on Sunday when Sophie came to New York to be with the kids and that the kids have been with her since then. This is interesting considering Sophie claims in her lawsuit that he refused to return the kids back to her. So what is the truth? Joe's reps continue saying that less than 24 hours after their meeting, Sophie told him that she wanted to take the kids permanently to the UK and that she wanted their passports, and Joe didn't give them to her because he didn't want to be in violating of the Florida court order. So maybe he took the kids back after she said that? He also claims that he wants shared parenting so that the kids are raised by both of them and he's okay with them being raised in both the UK and the US. And states that the children were born in the US, have spent majority of their lives there, and are American citizens. Joe's reps also don't like that Sophie used the language abduction, which is misleading, and they accused her of abusing the legal system as the children were not abducted and they have been in Joe's care for the past 3 months at the agreement of both parties. So you agree that Joe and Sophie both agreed on the kids being with Joe on tour while she films in the UK, right? So why try to use that as a hurting point a few weeks ago by trying to paint Sophie as a bad partying mother who's been caught on the Ring camera doing God knows what? Notice how there is no mention of this Ring camera footage that Joe was using as leverage earlier, now that Sophie has fought back, huh? Joe's reps claim that Sophie is only making this abduction claim so she can move the divorce proceedings to the UK and remove the children from America permanently. Also, she didn't say he abducted the kids, she just cited the Hague Convention in the lawsuit so that the judge could allow her to take the kids back to England. But I can also see how Joe found that messed up since it is misleading at the end of the day. Now, here's the hilarious part. The statement ends with the following. Joe has already disavowed any and all statements purportedly made on his behalf that were disparaging of Sophie. They were made without his approval and are not consistent with his views. His wish is that Sophie reconsider her harsh legal position and move forward in a more constructive and private manner. His only concern is the well-being of his children. Now, this is gold. First of all, no random hobo can legally talk to the media and spill any tea. When TMZ was reporting that Joe's camp is saying that Sophie is a bad mother who's partying and leaving him with the kids on tour, and she was doing something suspicious on the Ring camera, that means it came from Joe's camp. Just like him apparently disavowing those statements of Sophie, they also came from the media, and not some TikTok video he posted of himself. And sure, maybe it didn't come out of his mouth directly, but just like he has his representative talking publicly right now, he had someone talk to the media beforehand. Hence why Sophie found out through the media about the divorce. Now that it backfired on him and social media clowned him and said, "Who do you think you are framing someone else as a partier when you are the party boy?" Suddenly it's all, he wants to proceed privately and wants Sophie to not be harsh legally. Well, brother, why were you running your mouth to begin with? Why play the ring on/ring off games? It's crazy. And now that Sophie wants to fight back and did so harshly with her legal team, he's begging for privacy and hiding behind the well-being of his children. Listen, I'm not taking sides, but it's clear that Sophie took the fuck around and find out approach with Joe, and now he's withdrawing his army, which only makes me believe one thing: Sophie has the upper hand. Anyone who sides with Taylor Swift has the upper hand. She has extreme media power and her fans will support anyone she supports. And Sophie and Taylor were just seen going out to dinner in New York, and leave it to sweet Taylor to still have the time to attend the VMAs and grab publicity dinners, all while on a huge stadium tour. If she releases a time management course, I will 100% be buying it. But yeah, the whole going out to dinner with Tay-Tay is definitely for publicity reasons, and Taylor doesn't mind hopping on any sort of hot drama, especially if it aligns with her girl power, sharp cat eyeliner to kill a man agenda, or whatever the lyric is. Like, Taylor, how do you have the time? Anyway, that's all for the latest updates for this messy divorce battle between Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Are you Team Joe or Team Sophie? How do you think this is all going to pan out? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos to come, and as always, I'll see you next time.